In this video, I'm about to show you 10 US whipped cream brands you should never buy again and 5 you should actually be using, starting with number 10, Ready Whip Extra Creamy. You'd think extra creamy on the label means more cream, right? Wrong. Conagra, the billion-dollar corporation behind Ready Whip, uses a blend of cream and skim milk, which thins out the fat content while still charging you a premium price. The extra creamy label? That's marketing, not reality. What's worse? A 2019 consumer report flagged that Ready Whip Extra Creamy contains carrageenan, a seaweed-derived thickening agent linked in multiple studies to gut inflammation. The World Health Organization's research arm actually classified degraded carrageenan as a possible carcinogen. I'm not a scientist, but when I'm putting something on my grandkids' pie at Thanksgiving, I don't want something the WHO had meetings about. Conagra made over $11 billion in revenue in 2023. They can afford to do better. They just choose not to, because as long as that label says extra creamy, most people never look any further. Number 9. Cool Whip Original. Here's a fun fact. Cool Whip contains 0 dairy cream, not a drop. It's made with water, hydrogenated vegetable oil, high fructose corn syrup, and a pile of stabilizers. Kraft Heinz has been selling this stuff since 1966 and has barely touched the formula. The FDA banned partially hydrogenated oils in 2018 because of their direct link to heart disease. And yet, Cool Whip still uses fully hydrogenated oils combined with modified palm kernel oil, a loophole that lets them claim 0 trans fats per serving, while the cumulative effect over time is another story entirely. This isn't whipped cream, it's whipped shortening dressed up in a tub. They've been getting away with it for almost 60 years, and millions of Americans put this on their pie every single holiday without ever knowing what they're actually eating. Number 8. Great Value Whipped Topping. Walmart's Great Value Whipped Topping is the absolute bare minimum dressed up as a bargain. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry textbook: polysorbate 60, sodium caseinate, artificial flavor, mono and diglycerides. Polysorbate 60 is an emulsifier flagged in animal studies for disrupting gut microbiome balance. A 2015 study published in Nature found that emulsifiers like polysorbate 60 promoted inflammatory bowel disease in mice. When you're eating this every holiday season for 30 years, those small exposures stack up. Walmart earns nearly $500 billion a year. Putting real cream in their whipped topping wouldn't even move the needle on their balance sheet. But they won't, because you'll keep buying it anyway, and they know it. That's how they think about us. Number 7. Land O'Lakes Whipped Cream. Land O'Lakes built its entire brand identity around being a farmer-owned cooperative, wholesome, American, trustworthy. Look closer at the aerosol can, and you'll find added corn syrup hiding in the formula. Real whipped cream needs 2 ingredients: cream and maybe a touch of vanilla. The moment you start adding corn syrup, you're covering up the taste of lower quality cream with sugar and hoping nobody notices. A 2018 Cornucopia Institute report found that many dairy cooperatives had quietly shifted to factory farm sourcing despite their small farm marketing. Land O'Lakes settled a class action lawsuit in 2014 over misleading natural labeling. They paid out, changed nothing. The wholesome farmer image, still front and center on every single package. Number 6. Lucerne Whipped Topping. Lucerne is the house brand of Albertsons, one of the biggest grocery chains in the country, and their whipped topping is a textbook example of what happens when a corporation decides quality is optional. Like Cool Whip, it leans heavily on hydrogenated coconut and palm kernel oil instead of actual cream. But what really gets me is the labeling. This product sits right next to actual dairy whipped cream on the shelf with nearly identical packaging design. That's not an accident. It's a deliberate strategy to confuse everyday shoppers into grabbing the cheaper, lower quality product. The FDA has received consumer complaints about misleading dairy-adjacent labeling on multiple whipped topping products. Albertsons reported over $77 billion in revenue in fiscal 2023. Designing packaging to confuse people trying to stretch their dollar? That's not a mistake. That's a business model. Number 5. Kroger Whipped Dairy Topping. Kroger is the largest supermarket chain in the United States. over $148 billion in revenue in 2023. So when their store brand whipped topping reads like a bargain bin experiment, it tells you everything about how they view their customers. Kroger's whipped dairy topping contains sodium caseinate, a milk protein derivative that technically lets them put the word dairy on the label while keeping actual cream content minimal. It's a gray area loophole the FDA has struggled to close for years. The Center for Science and the Public Interest has pushed for clearer dairy labeling standards since the early 2000s, and the big chains have lobbied against every meaningful reform. You're not getting dairy, you're getting a dairy-adjacent chemistry project at full whipped cream prices. That's the deal Kroger is quietly offering you. Number 4. Pillsbury Whipped Cream. Pillsbury has been a trusted American kitchen name since 1869. Over a century of trust, and they're still using it to sell you something that contains high fructose corn syrup in a whipped cream can. High fructose corn syrup in whipped cream. Let that sink in. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 grams for men. One generous serving of Pillsbury whipped cream takes a real bite out of that daily budget, and nobody is measuring one serving. The Journal of the American Medical Association published research in 2014 showing that people who got 17 to 21% of their daily calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. Smucker's, which owns Pillsbury, reported nearly $8 billion in annual revenue. They don't need the corn syrup. They use it because it's cheaper and, frankly, more addictive. That's the bottom line. Number 3. Friendly's Whipped Topping. Friendly's trades almost entirely on nostalgia. It's the ice cream shop from your childhood, the Sunday after the Little League game. But the whipped topping they sell in grocery stores today is a long way from that warm memory. This product is built on partially hydrogenated oils, the same category the FDA finalized a ban on because there is no safe level of artificial trans fats in food, none. And yet formulations continue slipping through the threshold loophole, delivering the same problematic fat profile in cumulative doses over time. Friendly's filed for bankruptcy twice in 2011, and again in 2020, both times rescued by private equity. When private equity takes over your food brand, ingredient quality is always the first thing on the chopping block. Always. Number 2. ShopRite Whipped Topping. ShopRite's store brand whipped topping is a prime example of race-to-the-bottom private label manufacturing. The product is sourced from third-party co-manufacturers, meaning ShopRite itself has limited visibility into exactly what goes into each production run. This creates batch inconsistency, which explains why consumers regularly report wildly different taste and texture from the exact same product. Independent lab testing has shown that private label whipped toppings from regional grocery co-ops have the most inconsistent fat and sugar content per serving compared to national brands. You might get a decent can one week, you might get one the next week that tastes like sweetened vegetable lard. ShopRite doesn't fully know which one you'll get either. And at the end of the day, they're okay with that. Number 1. Reddi-wip Sugar-Free. We saved the most deceptive for last. Reddi-wip Sugar-Free sounds like the responsible choice, the smart option for diabetics, for anyone watching their weight, for people genuinely trying to do right by their health. But to replace the sugar, this product uses acesulfame potassium and sucralose, 2 artificial sweeteners with serious question marks behind them. A 2023 study published in Cell found that a metabolite of sucralose can damage DNA. The FDA's own review history on acesulfame potassium has been criticized by the Center for Science in the Public Interest as deeply incomplete, with key rat studies showing elevated cancer rates in animals. You reach for the sugar-free version because you genuinely want to be healthier. These corporations know that, and they fill it with compounds that may be doing their own kind of long-term damage. That's the number 1 brand to put back on the shelf and walk away from. Now look, I know that's a lot to take in, and I get it. You start feeling like every single product on that shelf is out to get you. But here's the thing, not every brand is cutting corners. There are companies out there, smaller ones, honest ones, that still use real ingredients and actually give a damn about what they're putting in the can. So let's flip the script entirely. These next 5 brands are the ones I'd actually put on my own table. Starting with number 5, Organic Valley Heavy Whipping Cream. Give me 1 minute before you scroll past this. Yes, You have to whip it yourself, but hear me out. Organic Valley is a farmer-owned cooperative, a real one, certified organic since 1988, operating under USDA National Organic Program standards. No synthetic hormones, no antibiotics, no pesticide-treated feed for the cows. Their heavy whipping cream contains exactly one ingredient, organic cream. No carrageenan, no polysorbate 60, no corn syrup. A 2021 study in the journal Food Chemistry found that organic dairy fat contains significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid compared to conventional dairy CLA that has been studied for anti-inflammatory and metabolic benefits. 2 minutes with a hand mixer and you know exactly what you're eating. At our age, that kind of certainty is worth a lot. Number 4. Horizon Organic Whipping Cream. Horizon Organic has been one of the most consistent USDA-certified organic dairy brands in the country since it was founded in 1991. Their whipping cream comes from cows raised without RBGH recombinant bovine growth hormone, which the European Union, Canada, and Australia have all banned due to human health concerns. Yet it's still permitted in conventional U.S. dairy. The ingredient list on Horizon Organic Whipping Cream is cream, period. No stabilizers, no gums, no emulsifiers. Independent retail audits consistently rank Horizon in the top tier for organic label compliance, meaning they actually deliver what the label promises. Available at Whole Foods, Kroger, and Target. Runs about $1 or $2 more than conventional cream. That's your trade-off for knowing exactly what's going on your pie. Number 3. Natural by Nature Whipped Cream. Natural by Nature is a smaller brand out of Pennsylvania. No giant marketing budget, no celebrity endorsements, and honestly, that's part of why it earns trust. Their whipped cream aerosol contains organic cream, organic sugar, and nitrous oxide propellant. 3 ingredients. That's it. The Cornucopia Institute, which independently rates organic dairy brands for pasture access and farming practices, has given Natural by Nature high marks in multiple annual scorecards. Their cows are pasture-raised, and 2020 research published in the journal Nutrients found that pasture-raised dairy contains up to 26% higher omega-3 content than conventional dairy. They don't put out fancy press releases, they just make good whipped cream from real ingredients. That used to be the standard across the board. For Natural by Nature, it still is. Number 2. Maple Hill Creamery Whipping Cream. Maple Hill Creamery out of New York operates on a 100% grass-fed model. Every single cow in their supply chain eats only grass year-round, not grain-finished, not mostly grass. 100% certified by the American Grass-Fed Association. A landmark 2015 study published in the British Journal of Nutrition analyzed over 200 studies on organic versus conventional dairy and found that grass-fed dairy contained 50% more omega-3 fatty acids than conventional dairy, 50%. Their whipping cream has one ingredient, grass-fed organic cream. Maple Hill publishes the names of their partner farms and invites third-party audits of their supply chain. When was the last time Walmart's Great Value did that? You're paying more, but you're paying for something real. That's a concept the brands at the top of this list gave up on a long time ago. Number 1. Strauss Family Creamery Organic Whipped Cream. The number 1 spot goes to Strauss Family Creamery, and honestly, it's not even close. Albert Strauss converted his family farm in Marin County, California to organic in 1994, making Strauss the first certified organic dairy west of the Mississippi. Their whipped cream aerosol is made with organic cream, a touch of organic sugar, and nitrous oxide as a propellant. 3 ingredients. And the system behind it is just as clean. Methane digesters on the farm convert waste into energy that powers the entire creamery, with independent sustainability audits confirming near carbon neutral operations. Their cream consistently tests at higher butterfat content than most national brands, which is exactly why it whips properly, holds its peaks, and actually tastes like real cream is supposed to taste. USDA organic certified and QAI verified. When you shake that can and put it on your pie, you're getting real cream from cows that were genuinely cared for, produced by a family that still runs their own operation. That's what whipped cream was always supposed to be, and for Strauss, it still is.